Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
It's good.
It's all good.
Hello, Selwyn here.
Selwyn, it's Heiko. How you doing?
Good, good.
Good. I just introduce you to say hello to Ken quickly.
G'day, Selwyn. How you going?
Good, good, Ken. Hello.
We've got all good sound readings. Everything's
Yep, we're ready
to
rock
go.
this house.
All right.
All right.
I'm ready if you're ready.
So we're all ready to go. Selwyn, here's your moment of glory.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
You're going to be famous in 25 minutes' time. Here we go. You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is a program called Acupuncture on Air. It's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio Heiko from the Acupuncture Clinic in Hastings. How you going, Heiko?
I'm very good, Ken. And you? Everything's going as well as always?
Oh, flat out like a lizard drinking here. What about you?
I've been very, very busy this week and last week. I think it's sort of a mad pre-Easter rush, but I'm looking forward to going away to the Coromandels.
Good on you. Now, before we get on to today's topic, and we've got a special guest, just to remind our listeners, Heiko, if we want to come and see you for anything to do with acupuncture, where are you?
Yeah, I'm in 206 Charles Street, Hastings, and we're going to be talking today with an acupuncturist, a well-known acupuncturist from Auckland, Selwyn Wong Doo. How you going there, Selwyn?
Yeah, good morning, Ken. Good morning, Heiko. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, well, because we heard that you're a historian almost, from our acupuncture point of view, because your father, William Wong Doo, was the founding president of our current organisation, the New Zealand Register of Acupuncturists, so we have changed our name now. So we thought that it'd be good to actually talk with you and get a bit of background and history of acupuncture.
Now, Selwyn, your father, he practiced in Auckland in the 1930s, and you're going to tell us a bit more about that later on. But New Zealand apparently has a history of Chinese immigration going back to the gold rush days. And first of all, were there acupuncturists back then? But I just wondered whether or not, I mean, your father was an acupuncturist, you're an acupuncturist. Does it run in the families often?
Yes, traditionally they do run in the family. Look, to be honest, I don't exactly know, but in the early days, the Chinese that practice and knew acupuncture, but the first acupuncturist that we know about for sure who practiced in New Zealand was actually in your neck of woods, and this was a man by the name of Wong Lee, who came to New Zealand in the 1980s, and he lived and practiced in the Hawke's Bay in the Clive area. He used to travel by horse and cart and give treatments to whoever needed it.
I wonder if he sterilised his needles in those days. Yeah, well, actually, I have met some of his descendants, and his descendants they still actually live in the Hawke's Bay area. And I've recently had a bit of communication from, I think it might be his great-great-grandson, who's doing a little bit of research on him. But tell us a bit about your father, Selwyn, and how he came to practice or come to New Zealand, practice in New Zealand, and about his what was called his Kung Fu therapy.
Yeah, what we call the Kung Fu therapy is a form of massage therapy that is done with the cupping of the hand and striking multiple blows to the sort of congested area, for instance, maybe a frozen shoulder or something like that, and massaging the pressure points on the body. This helps to free up the muscles and the joints to bring back blood and energy flow. That was a method that was used in old China, and my dad adopted that as part of his practice, but it's part of the martial arts, and we're still using it today. It's a useful type of massage.
And you find your patients come back, Selwyn, after beating them like that?
Yeah. The people are still alive after that. And we don't use any oils, but it's just pressure point massage that can be done with the client who they don't need to take their clothes off. They can be done straight through the clothing because it's quite a strong massage.
Sounds painful, Selwyn, is it?
I'll tell you what, it can be, if you've got a frozen shoulder, it can be quite painful.
I won't be coming to see you, that's for sure. Selwyn, you're part of you're a registered acupuncturist. Tell us about the New Zealand Register of Acupuncturists. How did that come about, and when was it?
Well, the New Zealand Register of Acupuncturists actually was formed in June 1977 by a small group of approximately 9 acupuncturists in downtown Auckland CBD. We originally formed it so that we could seek legislation and regulation. But what happened was that 6 weeks after we formed our society was that the Health Amendment Bill was introduced by Parliament to outlaw acupuncturists at the time, unless you were a doctor, a physiotherapist or dentist. Now, this would allow the profession to practice acupuncture whether they had any training or not. This bill was eventually thrown out by Parliament, and in 1990 we were grateful for Helen Clark and others of the Labour Party for giving acupuncturists status as acupuncture ACC providers.
And I think actually James McNeil, who's a acupuncturist practicing Napier area, I think he was involved in the initial paperwork or the documentation or something, and it wasn't that in that early 1990s period.
Yes, James McNeil of Napier, who was our president at the time in the early 1990s, he started a negotiation with ACC and Helen Clark, who was the Minister of ACC, and they signed off the papers at the time, and the NZRA became officially recognised and accepted by ACC. So James McNeil is actually still practising in Hawke's Bay.
Yeah, he is.
Wow. I mean, the 1990s, it's literally a generation ago. I wonder how many acupuncturists were working back then compared to now, Selwyn?
Acupuncturist at that time...
I have a feeling. I mean, I got here to New Zealand sort of in 1999, and I think there was less than 100 then. So I'd hate to hazard a guess how many were back there in 1990. It might have been 50, but
yeah,
I do now know.
Many at that time.
I think so. And how many do we have now? I think we've got over 700.
We have over 670 in our organisation. And because we've got 3 colleges now in New Zealand, and one in Wellington, and a couple in Auckland, and then we get a lot of the immigrants from China and the UK and all around the world who come here to practice now.
Are all of those people that you see practicing acupuncture, I mean, are they all registered? I mean, you say there's some colleges here, but anyone can hang a shingle up, can't they?
Yeah, unfortunately that is the case, but I would say most acupuncturists, well, there are certainly some that are not, who may not have done a proper degree training or learnt a little bit, but I think these people are going to be weeded out when registration actually does come through, that they will be forced to upgrade their qualification or their skills per se.
Of course, acupuncture is available on ACC. What's the bill now for acupuncture?
I know that it's probably at least 20 million. It was 20 million a few years ago. It could be 25 billion or something now. And then people would say, wow, that's incredibly a lot. But it's really very small compared to, say, the physiotherapy bill, which is in sort of in the hundreds of millions.
Yeah. You know, basically, it's all relative. You know, as we have new members to continue to join our register, the amount claimed for ACC actually grows. Well, and ACC is only part of any acupuncturist practice, and treating injuries is only about 35% of my practice.
Yeah, and with me, it's probably it varies, but it may be. Sometimes it might be 50%. Sometimes it's a bit less. Sometimes it's a bit more. It sort of varies on the weather or whatever.
Yes, for instance, there's over 300 registered acupuncturists in Auckland.
Right.
Wow.
Not counting physiotherapists or chiropractors or doctors who do acupuncture as part of their practice as well.
Now, today on this program, we're talking about the history of acupuncture. We've got a guest in the studio on the phone, in fact. Now, I understand that the New Zealand Register of Acupuncturists changed their name to Acupuncture New Zealand. Why was that?
Well, that was under the instigation of our former president, Patty McBride. She put it in as a motion. And there was a number of reasons for it, and I think it's just that the name New Zealand Register of Acupuncture sounded really like official and strict, and and it's always it was a longer mouthful. So just to do something to keep it more simple and more quick and more easy. We basically just changed it to Acupuncture New Zealand, and it seems to be along the line. A few of other organisations are calling that, it's like Health New Zealand and Osteopathy New Zealand, so it seems to be a bit of a rebranding. Yeah. Okay, and what's Acupuncture New Zealand doing at the moment? I mean, apparently it saved the profession from extinction, so to say, back in the 1970s. What about now? Is it vibrant and go ahead and all that sort of stuff?
They're doing a lot of things, but I think the top priority is lobbying for official registration, so that we have status similar to physiotherapists and chiropractors. They are registered, and the Acupuncture New Zealand wants to be part of that Health Practitioners Competence Assurance Act.
What will
and
it mean?
This will give the protection to the public and give credibility with the insurance company. New Zealand's about 25 years, possibly more, behind Australia, where acupuncture has been recognised by insurance companies.
Yeah, but also acupuncture registration in Australia has only really been around officially for about 5 years. So we're not in some ways we're ahead because we've got the ACC. In other ways we're behind. But I think there's other aspects. I think it's money, that there's just that professional recognition that we are a real profession.
So if you get recognised as a real profession, does it mean that you'll be able to practice in real hospitals?
Do you want to comment there, Selwyn?
I don't think that will come about automatically or in a hurry.
Yeah.
It may mean that we legally can work in a hospital, but the system in New Zealand is that individual hospital boards, they decide with the available funds. And I think the main thing is that registration will ensure that the unqualified or uneducated people out there, the acupuncturists, will be stopped and doing acupuncture, and there'll be a few of them around that gives the profession a bad name.
Indeed. Now, how do you guys keep in touch with each other? I mean, because there's 700 odd of you now. Do you have an organisation? Do you send out newsletters? I understand that both yourself and Heiko were in charge of newsletters. They would have been fun.
Yeah, that old technology, with pieces of paper. We used to type things on pieces of paper and photocopy them and send them out. But it's changed now, isn't that right, Selwyn?
That's right. Now everything's done through head office in Wellington, and we have actually 2 paid staff, and we receive regular email newsletters from the president, and a professional acupuncture journal comes out twice a year.
Yeah, and I think the other thing what our organisation does, and I actually look forward to it each year, and it's a big conference in Wellington each year. And our conference has grown and grown. Like, when we went to the first one in Christchurch back in 2001, I think we had like 25 people went. Now we're getting 150, 200 people going, and we're starting to worry about the venue where we can have it, because there's not enough room now. And it's gone from 2 days to 3 days, and now they're thinking have it for longer. We're getting international speakers are coming, and practitioners from other parts of the world are coming specifically to our conference. So it's quite a good recognition
of
where we're going.
Yeah. Now, I understand there's also a special award. It's called the William Wong Doo Award. It's given out each year at the conference. Tell us about that, Selwyn.
The William Wong Doo Award actually started in 2012, and I've had the great privilege of presenting this award each year. The award is named after the first president of Acupuncture New Zealand, or formerly known as New Zealand Register of Acupuncturists. Members of the Acupuncture New Zealand are asked yearly to nominate a person they feel has contributed the most to the profession in the preceding year.
Have you ever won it, Selwyn?
No. No.
What about you,
I can't
Heiko?
give it to
No,
myself. I can't
they-
give the award to myself.
Yeah, they
Anyway, the
wouldn't give it
members,
to an
have to
Australian. They
nominate.
wouldn't give it to me.
Yeah, the members nominate the most deserving member.
Yeah.
What do you have to do to be deserving, though? Give us an example of why you might get it.
Well, I think one example is Tracy Borner from Christchurch got it, and she was very actively involved in. I think after the earthquake in Christchurch, she helped to set up like free clinics for the stress and injuries and things like that. And she sort of did that,
Yeah, that's a great initiative.
for no, didn't want anything for it or whatever. She sort of, and so she got it for things like that. So other people have gotten it for they've had academic, done PhDs and extra study and things, and sometimes you know it might just be a lecturer at the college that's just been lecturing away for years and years, sort of completely unrecognised, but
Time to recognise it.
yeah.
Now, Selwyn, how long have you been into acupuncture?
I've been doing acupuncture for well over 40 years now.
What made you do it? Why didn't you want to become a lawyer?
Well, acupuncture was not really my career path
No.
for both my sister and myself. And my sister was doing secretarial work. I embarked on a accountancy career. I was near the top of my class at Auckland Grammar for economics, maths, and accounting. So I thought this was my career. The real world thought differently. About halfway through my degree, I was already helping my father dispense herbs and helped him out with a bit of acupuncture, and I was massaging the clients a lot. And in those days, my dad had a 6 months waiting list, so we worked long hours and most of the weekends. And like any family business, you help. So over the years, acupuncture and massage and Chinese herbs became second nature to both Anne and myself. So we basically joined my father in 1972.
Long haul.
Yeah, I was still at school then, still just starting high school.
No, I was working.
All right, all right.
Now, we're just about coming to the end of the show, so people listening to this program where you're at, if we want to come and see you, where are you?
We're at 77 Remuera Road, and that's in Remuera, but it's the Newmarket end of Remuera Road, and I've been there for 18 years.
And what's your phone number there, Selwyn?
09 524 2133.
And what I might do is after it comes up onto the YouTube, I'll put up a link for your website for the clinic so people can get in contact with you if they're up in Auckland.
Now, thanks for coming on to the show, Selwyn. Now, before we let you go, your kids, are they going to be acupuncturists or are you going to let them do a real job?
Time will tell. If my daughter wants to do acupuncture, I'll let her, but there's no pressure on her. And if she wants to do another career path, that's fine. And I'll just teach her some basic stuff for her own family.
I know with my daughter, she's not the least bit interested to be an acupuncturist. She's not the least bit interested to do anything with taking responsibility for other people's health. No. But let's just have our last little song on the way out. As opposed to having a Bob Marley performing or doing a song, I wanted to get one of his original band members, Bunny Wailer.
Yes.
And you've picked a good song that he's done, a cover of Bob Marley's song, No Woman, No Cry.
Yes, and off that album you suggested, Time Will Tell. It's a tribute to Bob Marley. And by the way, Bunny Wailer, his real name is Neville Livingston.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't think that Bunny would be a...
That's right.
Well, you never know. These days you get names like river and forest and ocean.
That's right. Now, the album, by the way, a 1991 Grammy for Best Reggae, so... We'll hear song No Woman, No Cry, but before we get there as well, Heiko, just remind our listeners who want to come and see you, where are you?
Just go to my website, which is www.acu123.co.nz. All the information's on there. And we'll grab you then next week.
Thank you, Selwyn. Thank you, Heiko.
Okay, Selwyn, you take care.
Ken. Thank you, Heiko.
Cheers.
Okay.